What's happening, man? So we gonna try this again. Um, I was saying earlier. We gonna see if we're gonna get to some news today, but I for sure just wanted to get on here and just chop it up with y'all, man. I feel like every new video I do, I feel like I get a little more comfortable with myself, and I think that's like a big part of this is self comfort. Um, Let me check my calendar. Let's see if we can kick some shit like a punter, man. You know what I mean? That's what I was doing last time though. They was shaking the screen. Let me take my phone out. Here it go. Y'all seen Texas opening? That shit crazy, right? That's wild. I will be in that thing. Cool on that and that. Mm. Okay. I mean, shit. But the last 8 months for me been fucking crazy. Like I'm just sitting here looking at the calendar, and it's like changes and experiences, bro. Like I feel like I for sure feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I done lived like a moment out. Um, and within feeling like I've lived a moment out, it just feel like again, there's still so many things. There's so many things out there made to break you and to craft you negatively. And it's like, one thing I'm always hesitant about and I don't really fuck with is my innate nature a lot of times. I feel like I done been built with a heart, but flawed as much as anybody else. I'm not trying to act like I'm something like different than anything else, but within my perspective, it just be feeling like, I forgive, but I'll never forget. And I think I done struggled with that over the years. And I feel like over the last 3 years, I began to feel like I needed to do something about the fact that I forgive, but I don't forget. And then I need to kind of carry myself differently and act differently. Or like, I think it's about the territory in which you start the moment's at. Granted, you feel me? Everybody got a plan till they get hit. But I think eventually you're supposed to develop a mentality for knowing that you're finna get hit. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I be feeling like talking about shit is stupid because people don't talk about shit. But that's the reason our world is kind of the way that it is. You feel me? So like within that, it's like a lot of times I think to my own personal detriment, I'm always like worried about judgment. Judgment is a big thing for me because I'm not a judgmental person. Maybe I am a judgmental person. I think I delve and I believe in more of what we have collectively talked about right and wrong. Um, and I know at the end of the day in my life that's gonna come to roost in the way that it does if I don't leave my heart and my moments and my vibes by intentions. But I feel like right. So right now in this stage in my life, right now I'm kind of dealing with very interesting changes. So over 6 months, you feel me? Um, like I said, the last 6 months, I don't really just pandemic, personal life, live through and experience crazy shit. You feel me? And then going through a breakup, and then going through a separation through the breakup, going through the healing of that. And then it's like when you look up and you look at it, it's like, damn, okay, well, um, I'm like kind of talking around topics and subjects and stuff like that. I just feel like at the end of the day, like I done learned through and came through and grew through a lot of perspectives. One of my perspectives about myself that I done learned is um, true love language versus perceived love language. I think we all have a perception of what our love language is, and that's some cute shit, right? I think it's like my love language is dictated by, oh, well, this person does this or this kind of thing, or you feel me, what it is I'm looking to experience and feel in my life, or stuff. But I think actually, a lot of times, our love language and the experiences that are built around those things, a lot of times I think those factor and come from the experiences that we watch in our lives. Right? I think that's something about me. I think in in my life perspectively, I think I had never I be talking to my mom about this, and it's dope being able to talk to a parent and some things a parent corrects you on, but some things they just kind of just let you rock, not negatively reflecting on them, but just kind of understanding where you're coming from. So for me, it's like one thing is I feel like my grandparents was together, but I feel like in the home, like, and again, it's not a negative thing. It just shapes how you develop and grow as a person and what levels of your love expression are and things like that. But I feel like I had in home, it wasn't like an example of a true relationship love. Love was expressed and love was shown, but again, that um, mommy, daddy, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend love, the spousal companionship was there, but again, with my dad not being married to my mom, and then my mom not being married, you just be that's you learn to grow through the experience in which that you're living through, or that you're seeing, in front of you. And I think for a while, I wasn't able to understand really how in which that just plays into the ways in which we develop and begin to grow as we get older. I think, um, and I think that's a very important thing, you know, because as I began to learn and began to know, granted, you can build it, but innately to start, again, behaviors and habits and tendencies make the people. So, I was riding in the car the other day and I was just thinking about habits of the man and the person. And, for folks that got me on the gram or folks that follow me on here and watch, prospectively at times I'll talk about being who you say and a path to that and what that journey has been for me. Um, mhm, mhm, mhm. You feel me? I think for me, that was cool. Um, I think for me as well, um, one thing that I've learned and like I've been on is it's been very much so important to me and are poignant to be very attentive about this stage of my life and this phase of my life. Why do I feel like this? Why am I thinking that? What is it that's brought me to put myself where I'm at? And then when I get there, how do I want to look at it? And I feel like I'm not being in a position or pushing myself to be immature about it. I think it's been hard for me to openly and outwardly share deep, 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 deep murders of my past relationship. When I say murders, I mean just shit to do to ruin your relationship, murder your relationship because your flawed perspective and maturity. So you feel me? I ain't talking about all of the crimes just because it's hard for me to bring those things up because I be feeling like sometimes like what do it mean? And what do it mean to step up and say that? You feel me? Like in my past relationship, for example, I feel like I struggled a lot with um, provisional perspective, traditional faithfulness. Don't talk to nobody. Don't possibly think nobody else is cute. None of that shit. Now, for me, I think it manifested to the end of the relationship and to my first few months being single on some like nobody gonna want you, nobody gonna fuck with you because you're this way and create like a lot of conflict in my mental. But I done took it in two perspectives and two ways to look at it. Because again, I think one of the biggest things is having my last relationship ended and ended up being a free agent. And the way that it ended, I for sure was a little hurt by the way the ending separation in the relationship went because um, I'd say because um, I think prospectively in relationships, and this goes back to my familiar love language. I think you kind of learn like the lengths in which you'll go for people. And I think I was just talking about this earlier today, which probably has brought me here. I was talking to my cousin, and one of the things that I think in our me and my past relationship, you know, you could feel the way that you feel about the way and things change and then they go down. But as times change and things go on in a relationship, I think one thing that I understood and began to grow with, but I was flawed in maybe, is a lot of my focus was around helping the other person grow into this person I see them as capable of being, or raising their confidence in who they could be. And granted, when that comes to fruition and you see that, that is true. But one of the things me and my ex used to talk about, or began to talk about, with the idea is like I became one of the biggest improvements and positive influences and pushes in her dynamic. But at the same time, like I also brought my own like problems now too. And for me, it's like it took me time to realize that the impact of that, or the leading to that, is the lack of focusing on what it takes to improve as like a spousal person, a relationship person, because all of the focus is in on like helping and trying to heal and uplift another person. But I think one of the understandings in the game is in a game of life is that the bigger thing about it is that nobody owes you anything to repay that forward. Now, this opens up a new subject and a new topic that is very interesting. And when I share this one, it's going to be pretty interesting because this one leaves a conflict in me, a high level of conflict in me and myself, because especially in such an accepting world, this perspective in my head and the self honesty and the self reflection worries me, or it bothers me, because I don't necessarily understand it to put it into words. An element or the dynamic inside of my personality and my energy almost wants to go to say it plainly, but it can't be that plain. The heart, the head, the emotions, like it can't be that plain though. But at the same time, it's like, is that the flaw in the thought of man over analyzing simplification? But again, it's like within simplification, the energy of a whim and the energy of a moment, is that to be led to dictate You feel me? An entire timeline is that to be left to dictate the entire future, the entire future of a dynamic. You feel me? Like, and again, to go back to the perspective, it's like people don't, this. So I feel like me and my ex at the time when we had met, it was like a healing time. We had both been going through our own personal things in our own lives and stuff like that. And I feel like at the time when we met, we was like a sign of strength in each other's lives. Granted, it could be the other perspective, and we could have truly like hemmed each other up and held each other up. Um, but I always had kind of noticed that, and how that was always something that was like very poignant to me. Like, was the power in lending yourself to try and help another person improve or push forward and grow, but whose responsibility is the blame to go to when you don't um, spend all your time working on you? Because again, I think like if I get like a look at the relationship, it was like 100% to her, 20 to me. And that's just personal development. I ain't talking about the level of commitment and all this other stuff. Because again, what I can say about that earlier, to go back to that, I think like my level of commitment now is like, it's interesting though, but it's crazy because to prospectively be in a relationship now, my head fucked up because it's like, am I supposed to be this way that it was kind of marketed and advertised, and not have been prospectively like groomed and trained to look at it, which I was like not anti, but my perspective was just different, and the way my love language was different from that. Or do I now ascribe to what it was, the mentality that I used to have, that seemed like that's what it is these days? Because again, like in any dynamic, seeing that you are the reason or you're responsible for a level of energy to change against you for the worse, that's a pretty interesting experience. But you got to be able to be accountable to yourself. I feel like you have to be able to look into inward versus looking outward and saying, well, they, because again, if you can't look inward and say, how did I get me here, versus, well, they, granted they done did you, but why did they do you? What was it? Were you out of position? Were you fundamentally unsound? Were you distracted? I think that's the thing. Like, that's what I still be trying to figure out. Because again, it's cut and dry answer. And again, soul echo. I don't know what that soul echo says more about. If it says more about me or me. Damn, damn. Hmm. But what I will say about that is I think every tough moment that you're faced with is about your choice to react in adversity. This been a crazy ass moment for me in perspective, just because mental energy, mental health. I'm a hindsight 2020 dude. I'm gonna go sit down on the sideline, pull the iPad out, swipe the clips, and say, and then throw the iPad on the floor because that's what the fuck I just did. Damn, that was it. We was open right there. But I think so much of this time and this journey is also about choosing who you want to be, not who you say. I think we choose who we want to be. And by way of saying that, or expressing that dynamic, is really much so, or so much so, about not taking every step and looking back to make sure you made the right step, but taking every step with intention. You feel me? Cause I think like if I could speak on some other shit, just in some shit, I feel like the way my soul and my energy feel at the end of the day, I think it's just disappointing when you kind of look up and you see perspective times change. I'm like a big don't switch up on me person, regardless. Like, bro, we can not fuck with each other, but just don't switch up on me. But I think within that, you have to not allow. I think also what the moments is about is not allowing people to shake who you is inwardly because of their outward perspective. And it's like think about how many of our own perspectives are altered by what other people feel, not what other people know. Like I feel like it's the worst thing you can do to a person or on a person is to judge their perspective and judge where they coming from or where they headed to, and you ain't really looked at what's sending them there. Let me get this weed in me, man. I'm just kind of trying to say a lot, but not saying shit. I do like how I feel in some of these moments because, again, though, it's about the choices that you make and what you choose to do with these moments and its energy, the fear of failure, the anxiety, the disappointment, the depression, the happiness, the frustration, the questions, the wonders, the who's, the whys, the whats. And again, trusting your intuition and knowing things. That's a different thing. That's a different thing that goes into this dynamic and this element that I could for sure talk on. Is my instincts, my intuition, my spidey sense. Mm, you feel me? You feel me? So a lot of times I feel like, and granted, I've been reading this book. I got this new book. Shout out my boy Zeke. I need to get into as well. But within the book, one of the things that it talked about in the book was the power and the radiation of thought, and it is so important to me because I feel like I'm a psychological reactor now too to kind of have looking at the concept of the radiation of thought now and then looking at it as well. Drug dealers and strippers, they in my entourage. So that's the eighth between Friday and Wednesday. That's 5 days. Okay, so 8 for 5 days. That's fine. We'll do that. Um, damn, what the fuck was I talking about? Hmm. I feel like sometimes I'll be thinking so much, like so far ahead that I put myself into the future, but it's always like maybe negative manifestation or understanding of certain things and certain things you could feel. Because again, I don't know, my intuition be crazy. I could just feel it. You could just feel when the switch up is there. You know, I ain't never one of them people naive enough to keep doing me and notice that you're not doing you or you doing a new you. And it's like one of the experiences within that I've kind of had, it was pretty interesting, was it's just how do you deal with knowing exactly what the fuck you know? Because I think like it's one thing to understand, but it's another thing to know. And what it is you allow based on, like I said, it's your choice what you do with these moments, based on how you allow your thoughts to manifest within those things or to grow within those things. And then from those, how would you let yourself react? So, okay, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna grow within these things, but how do I react to the learning and the growth? So, for example, it was like, you feel me? I had this major sudden change in my life, and with a person who I was like hella close with, I felt. Now, one of the craziest things is I'm not a type of person who's able to easily deal with it, but I'll deal because that's what humans do. Like I understand being cut off, emotionally cut off or shut out is something that is very hard for me because again, I can tell. I kind of feel like I got a innate ability to kind of tap in with people at a certain level to where it's like prospectively when things change or if it's a difference in the energy or whatever, I'm gonna be able to know this because again, the kind of connection that I can build with people just innately and naturally, you can feel if something's off. What's going on? You all right? You cool? And I think that was one of the first perspectives where it was pretty interesting because even innately within myself, like I openly share, like I'm not necessarily feeling too good. Um, mentally, I'm feeling like a little out of sorts, and emotionally, I'm feeling this, or I'm really like worried about this type of stuff. And I feel like as an adult, it was very much so a tough learning experience, but a very much so needed it learning experience because I think when you go through moments where it's like, I think when you go through moments and perspectives where it's just like, um, all you want to do at least is be able to have your heart felt, right? You feel me? I think those are pretty tough experiences because when people judge your heart and judge against your heart, I think it can break you as a person. Because I don't think we all perfect, and I don't think everybody or every amount of people has a responsibility to be flawless. But I think everybody has their own different levels of flaws, and the willingness and the ability to step up to them flaws and kind of accept and understand that those flaws are also what make you. Habits make the man, and flaws do as well. And I just think like that was a pretty interesting experience for me because I think when people is ready to pass their judgment and they ready to get to the perspective that they want to get to, I think you can't necessarily stop nobody from going there, right? But I think it's something to be said for the way in which you lend yourself to still being who it was you started to be, you started as truly like. And I think that was a very interesting experience for me too because I don't feel like I never was like vitriolic or nasty, and I'm a very passionate person and a very heavy person, like emotionally, spiritually, expressive, like wise, especially, excuse me. So it was like you could just feel some shit. And granted, from me in this person perspectively, for this, for example, I had been through plenty of things. I love this time. It's just going so slow, just. But so I'm not talking like this is a situation where I was like I said, like the holy saint and look up got cut. That's fucked up. No, no, I made this lady cry plenty of times. But that that was a very interesting experience because again, like my love language as a person is I'm gonna check in. How you doing? Like, what's your scale? 1 to 10. How you feeling? How you doing? What you thinking about? You feel me? How is this, and this affecting it? I'm a let's talk about it type of person. But I think being able to acknowledge and realize like, okay, this person don't want to express that to you. It's pretty interesting. Um, I think that was a very interesting and an odd experience for me because I feel like a lot of time in a relationship in a dynamic, it had been so much about like, nah, just express to me, only express to me, don't express to other people. So again, when you get to a certain point and then you can't get nobody to express to you, you could kind of tell like how you grow from that and how you step up and accept that. I can't tell people outwardly and innately how they do that. For me, the way I accepted it and I grew with it is I feel like I had to just look at it and I had to see myself first before I see anything else. When I say had to see myself first before I see anything else, I think you got to look at it and be able to see every side. Now, meaning I'm facing forward. Really, I was kind of facing like this. I'd say, like I'm facing like this. Like this is kind of how I was living my life the last 4 months. Well, the past 4 months before the last three, over the last 7 months, 8 months, 4 on, 3 off. It was like this. But when a lot of people is still seeing you while they going forward like this, I think that's when you really got moments where you gotta really kind of like begin to have it out with yourself. One of the biggest things, like for me, within it was is being having to be able to look at it and say, again, my thing is I want to be able to exist and to live in the now. Existing and living in the past is why people don't move forward. So that's what I'm saying. Like one thing about the relationship is that I felt like not the relationship. Fuck. One of the things I felt about this path in this moment in time and growth, because it's not a relationship show. It's just me just sharing some. It's just been on my brain, but it's just like, and again, it's like a confessional. I gotta admit this shit. You gotta repent your sins, your boy, my boy. Is sometimes people can only see you as the worst things that you do. And again, it's not their responsibility to only see the good. It's your responsibility to be consistent. And I think that's the ways in which all of these things, dynamics fit into each other. Because again, this is not about a relationship. This shit is about me and my perspective. And I think that's the craziest part about it is the beginning to understand that if in those paths of growth and in those times, if those is what laid the foundation for the disappointment that came, even disappointment in myself for not being able to live up to my own expectations or um, just falling short based on immaturity or trauma or whatever, being able to look at that and not put it off on somebody else because of whatever you can conjure up for them. We can do that all day. People can do that all day. I've never liked when times change, people got all this shit to say about what they thought. But I think if you could go to it and say, well, no, this person didn't do, they didn't do this, 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 they didn't do this. Well, just sitting there touting about how this person didn't do this or they didn't do this or they didn't do this, I think you leave yourself to not be able to look inward and see the things that you've improved and grown on, but as well embrace the new moments that come in front of you and the new perspectives. Like I put myself through a ringer at that time, like psychologically, mentally, emotionally, because I had something to prove. I had something to prove to myself. I still have something to prove. I'm going to do it consistently right now, like at my job. I don't know what the fuck it means. Don't matter. But they offered me and one of my coworkers, like not offered, but they, kind of talking it over, be a little lightweight, negotiating it, me and him kind of chopping it up. But the idea, the dynamic of he and I being like, secondary leads. Like I've always been the type of person who felt like I'm capable of being a leader. I am a leader. Like being. In these perspectives, though, again, we all know that it's not about all of them things. It's about more what they looking for than what it is you can prove or you feel, being who you say versus wanting niggas to see you as who you say. And I think a few weeks ago I was talking about how people's perspectives and opinions can distort your self image. The last, like I said, 7 months, I done went through so many ups and downs, and then again, and really being locked into a perspective from the dynamic or the element of feeling like, okay, well, if I lock into this perspective, it's gonna take us upper. Because again, like so many other things in the path has been put us on a upper perspectively, but so many changes, pandemic and all this stuff. So it's like, but what you see is just because you looking like this and then somebody else say, well, you looking like this, but realistically I was looking like this the whole time. It don't mean that now you go like that. No. I done refined all of this already. I done took myself from maybe feeling like this to hold on. Let me get them antennas up. Bam. So it's like then when you have these little changes and these little things come, it's about how important it is to you to complete a mission that you started. And for me, I think one of the perspectives that I began to adopt and I began to just almost psychologically make love to in my mind is the idea and the dynamic that maybe I didn't start this journey. Maybe I had already started the journey on my own. Now, granted, I'm gonna ride with it. I'm and again, I was just thinking about this while I was laying down earlier. I'm gonna leave with who I came with, type of nigga. I'm riding with who I came with, period, because that's who was riding with me. But at the same time, I think you have to be able to accept and acknowledge the ways in which people are willing to and can ride with you and how they want to. Um, People don't owe you a responsibility to support your growth and to believe in your growth and to see your growth to its end. They don't. No matter how much you want, how much you want. But again, it's people also who come across in your life and who you may come across that may be entitled to learn about how you grew. And I'm saying that to you, my boy. I'm talking to you. It's just us in here, one on one. Because again, that's the dynamics of life in so many ways. It's one on one. It's not nobody out here to guard me. It's me, me, me. So it's like, how do you grow from understanding everything that you brought to the table and took from the table? You know, right now I'm out and about more than I ever was. And again, the little future in my heart, free bands, I've been listening to Future this whole time right now, non-stop. Ate every song. Today was Purple Rain. We started listening to March Madness when we started. Um, Donna, I didn't want to taste of the high life. Um, um, maybe that's your journey in your path. Your journey in your path is to reaffirm and re-energize yourself, and as well, like I said, tell people about how you've grown. Not expect to experience the path of growth for somebody else, but I think within it, my ability to be accountable to it. I think like I can speak about this openly now because I know that my heart has grown and I move forward. Um, because again, I'd be worried about hella judgment. I'm literally worried right now as I'm saying this that the songbird gonna see this. Ain't gonna motherfucker see this shit. How the fuck they gonna get to 38 minutes to go find this shit? I'm so motherfucking worried, man. Motherfucker gonna see this shit. They niggas still caught up on the old shit. I'm finna get not even gonna get to sign my free agent contract. It is what it is, because folks fuck with you for you. That'd be the interesting thing, being so caught up. Like I feel like, God damn, like bro, I'm ready to go fucking move forward and shit. Oh. And it's just so much a bag, just a big ass bag, just 7 year bag. But it's because I care. My mom was talking to my mom and she was like, endings mean something to you. And I was like, damn, they do, because endings is an ending. Granted, niggas not afraid to die, but if I die, that's it. Granted, maybe it's not about what's after. It's just about the fact that it's finna end though. But that's why we fight. That's why we carry guns. That's why we work out. That's why we try hard. That's why we breathe. Because it ain't about the fact that what's gonna happen after it's over. It's finna be it's over. So what the fuck? But again, it's about the moments in between and that. At this end, it's only about this shit. It's only about this shit. It's all about this. All in here. I got a lot of love to give though. A lot of desire to see folks succeed. You feel me? And that's the thing. Like I feel like this moment and this time I'm supposed to make you jaded against humans and shit like that. I'm back linking with folks, stuff like that. And I still be seeing perspective. I still be seeing stuff. I still kind of know how it is. And that's the dynamic of it. If you want to talk on some real shit, the dynamic of it that really leave a nigga hurt is when you look up and you kind of see so many dynamics around you drastically change for the worse. But again, you kind of understand and you learn different things about it the same way this dynamic changes. But it's just like as you reintegrate yourself and you say, man, I'm just being loyal to me and what I understand, the same way I know y'all is or whoever. Seeing it ain't the same though. You feel me? But it don't fucking matter. Sometimes I be worried like I'm gonna walk it alone. Like my journey is like the island of misfit toys. Like I feel like I'm Woody. Like all the toys, old toys, nobody trying to play with and shit like that. Niggas don't think it's fuckwittable enough. Like that's the group of folks I'm finna lead. That's the group of folks I'm finna get with. Cause I'm again one of those all on my own. But from there, I feel like I done seen so much in myself. And again, it's like this energetic resiliency. What I was just talking about recently is just like again, I feel like I done got a little muse. I feel like I'm reconnecting with my homeboys. I feel like I got this drive in me, like physically to work my body and all of this stuff. Like, but all that shit ain't about what the fuck it was. I'll be attributing it to other people. That's just me. That's just how I am. Who it is I am. So it's pretty interesting. Just because sometimes I don't be knowing up from down right now. Like I feel like I'm falling into the ocean after I'm riding a surfboard and I don't know which way is the surface. I'm just so it's like which way is up, which way is down, which way is my head? Is my head is this down? Is this up? Is down up and up is down? Is up down and down is up? Is right up and left is down? Is left down and right is up? But I also feel like I just can't sit still. I cannot sit here for fear of not knowing which direction. I gotta push myself in the direction my soul drives, and it just feel forward. That's it. That's it. Every time. That shit hard. I be feeling hella alone. I be feeling like I see myself as bigger than I am. But again, then again, I know how big I am. I can feel it. I can see it. I can hear it. But I can't touch it. That's the craziest part. I can't fucking touch it. That should be hard. Again, I just seen some shit. I just turned 26 on the 31st of January. So it's like it ain't no more. It ain't too much time. Too much more time to be potential. To be potentially. Again, if I'm an athlete, I got about 2 more years left. I mean, I could pop at 20. I could pop and reach my potential at 28. But if I'm not working towards it, then what? But again, all them thoughts and those feelings, them things that I'm expressing and I'm sharing now, them same things that I'm saying, it's all the shit that pushes me, all the shit that done created this. And that's the craziest part. All the shit that done made me motherfucking go get this. The type of shit that make me motherfucking. You feel me? You feel me? The type of shit that make me done goddamn posted all this. Come on. You feel me? I still gotta get back on Twitch too. You feel me? And it's all a start. I be realizing that now. Make 100 videos. Nobody watch them. 800 videos, whatever. Nobody watch them. Keep going because it's gonna hit. Like, oh, you gotta be patient. But again, just I feel my soul outwardly innately push forward. And again, like the craziest part is I know that this stage is right now about me sitting here like this with me doing what I'm doing, dynamically working hard, turning my soil over by myself. Ain't no Miss Lady on the property no more. So now we got a few more things that we just got to do all Mr. Man. But it's like at the same time, like I done seen and I done looked dynamically outwardly and I seen the impact. That's one of the things I was thinking about. I was like, damn, well, look at some of your boys, like positively the impact and the influence. One of my favorite ones I'm a big fan of is my boy, love my boy Drew. Because again, I remember where we was when we first started in this shit and seeing him having done it dolo, but as well as being able to come and communicate with me and then, us sharing and talking, but seeing him go out of it alone and being emboldened by that understanding that it's like, man, there ain't nothing wrong with doing it alone as long as you do it. Count me in or count me out, as long as you count me. So it's like for me right now, that's some of the things that embolden you. You say, man, look, come on, man. Ain't nothing to going to it alone. That's all we do. Because again, in all the moments where I was emotional, or I was depressed, or I was feeling psychologically crazy, or feeling like my mental health was off and different stuff like that, honestly, man, it was all me. I was the person that brought me out of that. So, and again, the craziest thing is feeling how you feel. I feel how I feel, but I do be happy. My mind is just the way that it is, and it works the way that it works. So that's a tough dynamic to deal with sometimes. But I be so happy to possibly be able to be who I say. And if it's based on the level of effort and the level of work that I give to myself to do it, then I'm not gonna be too worried because I know it's all about the effort that I put in. If I don't get out and go on a certain day, I can't look up and be mad. If I don't sit down and record, if I don't edit a video that I recorded on Sunday and put it out by Wednesday, if I don't sit down and record another video, if I don't record a song, if I don't work on the design for a tee, if I don't take no pictures with my camera, how can I be mad at anything? How can I be mad that they gave up on me? Hmm? That's what I always feel like. I feel like dynamically, like I've been moving around for hella years. Like I ain't had, we ain't had like a spot we done been at for 10 years since I was a kid. Like 10 years. I haven't had my own room since I was 13. I ain't had my own bed now, like in my own room since I was like 12, 13. I'm 26 now. That's dynamic. That's pretty interesting. I got my own space like a little bit over here now. But it's just like for a growing person, I'm trying to be a creative. I'm trying to push myself to grow, man. You got to fight through all of them things to try and create that dynamic. I done finally learned how to create that dynamic in the rest in a scrambling environment. But again, then you look up and folks done gave up on you. But how much did you refine within that? And then from there, once you understand that folks done gave up on you, you're gonna be accountable enough to say, "Oh no, they done did," or you're gonna say, "Nah, they gave up on me because of what it looked like versus what I say it's trying to be." And it's just like that's one thing for me. I do feel a lot of ways about sharing because I do it all on my own. For me to go and turn around and share with somebody else, I'm doing it. And I ain't probably sharing with somebody who got enough help. Now, granted, it's not supposed to be about help, but I just look at it that way. The nigga can go sit down with an engineer and all this other stuff. I don't really got that unless I'm paying for it, which is cool. We gonna pay for it. But us other people who got that. But I think it's something to be said about the closer and closer I get to a moment like this because it's like, man, if I can put this shit together, man, I got my own network. I got all my own outlets. I have every dynamic that I need, and I'm self-taught in it all. So again, to now take it out and to go to somebody else, I kind of understand what I'm getting and what kind of work I'm working for, and the ways in which I can fit myself into that business and that dynamic. That's one of the things that's so important to me. You're not gonna be able to tell me no because you don't feel like it, because you don't think, because what you don't think you see in it or in me. I would never let somebody restrict me by that. So, it's pretty interesting because again, there's so many dynamics of things that I've just moved on from at times too because I got so much I got to do. But I think your perspective got to be real. Are you capable? Yes. But are you putting in the work to be seen undeniably and to have, again, dynamics of your game and your elements that you bring into the table when you're ready to be seen as who you say, be valued and seen for what they are? So, some of my goals going into the spring is I got to drop 3 songs by the end of March. 3 songs on YouTube, just work ethic music. I for sure got to, we bringing the Dream City merch back. You feel me? Oh, wait till I tell that story on here. I'm for sure finna tell that story on here one day, just because it's good to share. It's good to purge. Um, um, we trying to post, um, work the dreams every week or 2 weeks. Yeah, we trying to post our work your dream trips to Melrose. This week we're gonna go out there. We're gonna interview a few people, ask them some questions about what brings them to the Dream City. You feel me? Um, shit crazy. Y'all, man, I met somebody, man. I don't trust it, and that's the scariest part because I fuck with it heavy, rock with it hella heavy, rocking with it hella heavy. But at the same time, like the way that it go, it'd be like I don't know what's up from down. I don't know what's real and what's fake. I don't know like even which direction to go with this shit. That should be wild. On the O's, choose by the O's. It's just like, bro, I feel like I always be knowing what I want, but at the same time, I be knowing what I need too. So I feel like the dynamics right now, it be like upside down because I just be wanting to dive in. But at the same time, you got to stay patient. And then the influences of the past moments, you just be like, but it's just like, again, I'm also learning a lot about myself innately and naturally. It's like, again, I'm a very naturally expressive person. Definitely need a person in my life who I can express to, and who within expressing though, like, bro, they can share perspective and not just tell me about what's wrong with what I think, but share perspective outwardly on the grand scheme of the world. Like I'm that type of person. Like, man, so what you think about this? Like, what do you think about this? Like, what do you think about this? And that's just the way that I am always. So and again, I'll just be speaking on my soul. As my soul just said, share that. So I shared it. For me, I feel like I'm getting a lot better in my music too. It'd be hard to. I'm trying to work on being hands off, and again, working more on recording and less being worried about recording and engineering and posting. So just trying to create more dynamics where I just get out and get it in and record versus feeling like I'm fucking. versus feeling like you feel me? I gotta create a whole label in the studio experience and stuff like that. Now, one of the dynamics for it I gotta kind of like figure out is the way in which the process for recording it goes. Because again, when I record music, a lot of times I record alone. Like it's just me, the mic, and the computer. Like this, like literally, like this is how how I record actually. Like literally, like maybe after I get off here, because I do got some beats. My boy Love My Drew sent me a beat off rip. Um, really made it. Hubby. Um, but yeah, like I'll sit down here with the mic, myself. Ooh, as a matter of fact, I really want to play this song. I said I was gonna preview the motherfucking song on YouTube. I'll do that shit another time. But like for example, like a lot of the songs I record myself and engineer myself, they come out sounding whatever. But I let another nigga record me. Like I went to my boy Third House, he recorded me, but it came out sounding great. Like, so that kind of dynamic, I'm trying to figure out like how to work it because again, myself recording process though is so awkward. It's so long sometimes, but not long. But it's just because I get in there and I really share my perspective and how I feel. So we'll see. But I'm feeling like I'm ready to kind of bring me to the mic. And again, I still be hearing shit. And it's like if the songs that I'm showing the people is songs that is unworked on and unedited and shit like that, or unengineered high level by a real engineer versus self-taught, like that's the thing. Like I hate it. I hate these old songs that I got that I still want to put out because I feel like they some heaters, but they not gonna sound like no heaters because they edited and engineered by me. But if I take them to somebody else, it's like it's old shit too. I kind of want to work on some new shit, so we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what you do. What you do? What you do? You feel me? High school football season supposed to be starting the 26th with the first official day. We get them out there training and shit, but I don't know. Go see. Um, I don't know. I think like it just feel like a new moment. It feel like something is upon us, and it's like either get your ass up. Like I said, count me in or count me out. Just make sure that I'm motherfucking counted in this motherfucking moment so that we can look back and say that nigga made himself a factor. That's what that shit motherfucking means. Don't get your number to none of these hoes, young boy. Remember that. Cause it's like if you capable, you gonna fat. It's like literally like, bro, what type is you? Really dealing with this dynamic of this other element in me. It's like, man, what the fuck? Come on. Like that's the element in me that's coming in, and it's crazy because I ain't never really necessarily felt like that, but that always done been in me. I'm that type of person. And it's like, but again, past experiences create a hesitancy and a reticency, like you to be hesitant to do certain shit. Now it's changing. So again, man, the count is going. They count. They finna start counting if they ain't started counting already. Get your ass in there, whether they counted you out or in. Make sure they count your ass, right? You feel me? Because when it's all said and done, everybody want to be one of them numbers. Okay, everybody can't always be one number one. I'm gonna be number one, but you feel me? It's space in there for all of us to be counted. And again, the counted outs, y'all can come get with me. I'll count you. I'll fuck with you. Always. Come fuck with Woody, man. I'll holler, man. I love y'all. We're gonna pray to the universe, to God, to our angels and our influencers. Send us positivity in these moments. Through all the ups and downs and the emotions, the frustrations, the disappointments, the confusions, emotional distresses. For me, perspective for myself, for example, I go through so many emotions all the time, so many emotions all day, so many thoughts in my mind. But as those and thoughts flow in and those like punches, I will ask that the universe and God give me the strength and the power to view and see and hear with clarity. In the darkness, to allow God's energy and light to connect with me and just keep my flame going. In the moments of darkness where others may not be able to see their light, allow me to be a light to get in path to positivity, perspective, understanding, good energy and love. Send everybody cleanness and positivity and health, positivity in mind state and energy. Uplift us up and lift us up. For me and all my struggles and my emotions, God, just give me the energy and the focus of mind to understand and be seen as I am, but also the clarity of mind to think freely of these um, self-imposed and created demons. We love the world and we love each other. For all the changes and all the stranges, just give us the power to continue to tend our soil and tend our crop. And just lift us up. Because for those of us that desire and those of us that try, you know, the rewards of the labor is truly coming from the effort, but truly coming from the love that we give and give back. So, allow us to all rub off and affect each other and not to flaunt these talents and these abilities and these powers to flaunt them over others, but to use them to lift up each other. You feel me? Because that's what these talents and these powers and these abilities that we have are. We all are unique with our own unique superpowers that we're given and blessed with upon this earth, regardless of how you feel. Allow us to use our powers and our abilities to lift up those that we come across in our life in all dynamics and all ways. Pray. I'll holla at y'all, man. Love y'all. Love you. Love you. I love you too.